Hey everybody, this is Drinker64 and welcome to my review for Forgotten Friendship, the special for Equestria Girls that aired about a week ago now, so I'm a bit late to the party, but I'm still gonna do the review because it's either this or talk more about the leaks and I do not want to do that. So this special is kind of interesting because I'm not going to lie. No pun intended, I forgot it even existed until the actual day. I knew it was coming a few weeks beforehand, but until the actual day I did end up forgetting that it was even going to happen. Equestria Girls isn't something I really keep up to date with, unlike certain other shows, but, well, it's not even technically a show, so I don't know, I just don't really keep tabs on it as much as the actual show itself. So, knowing that this was coming, I guess I kind of just forgot about it in the heat of everything else and all the leaks, so. But it happened, Forgotten Friendship has been, and it was really good, or at least for the most part it was really good. There were some parts about it I was a bit iffy on, and I'll get into those and I'll get into all the good parts, because what's good is good, what's bad is really bad. There are some big defining bad points of the episode, but I'll get to them in due time. Overall, this was a good episode, ultimately a good Equestria Girls story, and I really like the premise. So let's dive right into Forgotten Friendships, starting off with the bad stuff because I'll get into the best for last, obviously. Starting off with the bad stuff when it comes to Forgotten Friendship, I want to talk about Sunset first of all, and more so Sunset's character than anything else, and not Sunset herself, but the way the writers are actually taking her character and what direction they're bringing her, because I don't like it. I really don't like it. Now, I don't want to sit here and say that Sunset is a bad character, because she doesn't have to be, but the way they're writing her really does push that idea. I know it's kind of a joke in the fandom now to say, oh, Sunset and Starlight are so similar. Starlight is just a rip-off Sunset, and that was kind of true, but now, like, after so long, Starlight's been in the actual show for so long now, I feel like she's had a lot more development than Sunset. Like, even though Starlight came in after Sunset, she's had more development. You know, I do prefer Starlight to Sunset. But this special really does push that whole they're very similar thing together. Remember No Second Princes? Remember the episode that made Starlight and Trixie best friends? Who else does Sunset become friends with in this episode than Trixie herself? And that is really annoying to me. It shouldn't really be a problem, but you don't want to push one character to be so similar to another that there's no real defining differences, other than obviously design, but even then. I mean, with a name like Sunset and Starlight and Shimmer and Glimmer, you can kind of see the similarities, and you need that difference. Like Twilight and Sunset, for example, they have a lot of differences between them, even Twilight and Starlight. These two just don't, and because of that, the way they're pushing it really doesn't work, and it really kind of is just a really annoying thing in this episode, and I don't like it. You could have had Sunset become friends with anyone in the school. It didn't have to be Trixie. It could have been Bulk Biceps, for goodness sake, and I wouldn't have minded. But instead, you made it a character that we've already gotten to know on the show pretty well. And if they are really pushing for an Equestria Girls series, I don't really see it. Unless, of course, you know, the Equestria Girls series doesn't start until MLP finishes in 2019. By that point, they just want to keep on the story, but in a different universe. I guess that would work, but it's a bit too much of the same, if you guys know what I mean. As for the songs in the actual special, the songs were, painfully bad. Now, I don't want to push that these songs are actually bad, but they really are, to be perfectly honest. Honestly, when it comes to Equestria Girls music, they have definitely taken a downhill slide in the last couple of years. The first movie had terrible music aside from the cafeteria song, the second movie had really good music, the third movie had good music, the fourth movie had a couple good tracks. Then the shorts came, and I don't think there's a single song in any of the shorts that I can sit here and say are really good. Unless, of course, you count My Life as a Runway, Friendship Through the Ages, and My Past Is Not Today, but they were technically part of Rainbow Rocks, so I'm not going to count them as the shorts that we have today. But this movie had some terrible music. So there were two songs in Forgotten Friendship. There was Sunset Song in the beginning of the episode, and there was the villain song, Invisible, and oh boy, the villain, I'll get to her. But as for Sunset Song, it was the most generic opener song I've ever heard. I didn't like it, and quite frankly, if you want a better opener friendship song for one of these, go watch Better Than Ever from Rainbow Rocks. It is so much better, and it gets it done in a shorter time, to be honest. As for the villain song, it's forgettable. I'm going to be saying that a lot in this video, but it's very true, actually. A lot of the stuff in this is forgettable, and if that was intentional, good on them. But honestly, I didn't like the villain song. I didn't even like Sunset Song. They were just very bland. There wasn't much to them. There wasn't anything that made them spark or be unique in any way, which is kind of one of the things that a lot of the songs in the show do. And to see these songs not do that, or a lot of Equestria Girls music these days, is kind of a shame. I do hope, if they ever do make an actual Equestria Girls show, we do get to see better music, because it's a shame to see music this poor in Equestria Girls, obviously. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the villain. I did not want to talk about Wallflower Blush, but Wallflower Blush is the worst villain I've ever seen. Yes, even worse than the villain from Legend of Everfree. I didn't like Wallflower Blush at all. And no, it's not because she was forgetful, she was just a very, very boring villain. She didn't have good motivations, I didn't really understand her motivations. I think you could have made a better villain in this, and considering the stakes and the fact that they literally could have forgotten everything that had happened, you needed someone a bit bigger than a character we've never even heard of and who is so insignificant in the grand scheme of things, to be honest. Like, you could have had Discord, you could have had literally anyone that means something in this series, but instead you go for Wallflower Blush. I really hope we never see her as a character again, mostly because there's no point in ever bringing her back, and there was no point in having her in this episode. You could have replaced her with Trixie, and originally I thought Trixie would be the big bad for this episode, which would have been cool. Clearly not. I don't think they're that cool. Instead, Trixie was the good person, but I'll get to her later because she had some good moments. But Wallflower Blush is easily, in my opinion, one of the worst villains in Equestria Girls. It's very tied with Legend of Everfree because that was such a bad film. Only the music saves it, but Wallflower Blush will not be remembered, so Forgotten Friendship is probably right up her alley. But overall, that is it for the bad stuff. It mostly comes down to the music, Sunset, and the villain. As for the good stuff in the episode, oh boy, there was a good number of it. Starting off with the intro, we actually got a full-on extended intro to Equestria Girls, so we had the same intro we've had for the shorts, just an extended sung version of it, which was really nice. It's a better song than the actual songs in the episode, which is quite sad honestly, but also really cool. One thing I will note about this episode is how good Trixie was. Like, I like Trixie anyway, but this episode had so many good Trixie moments that I don't mind seeing her more in this, even though I hate the fact that she became friends with Sunset because it makes her too similar to Starlight. I don't mind having her around, she's a cool character, and I'd like to see more of her in Equestria Girls. She's really funny. Speaking of funny moments, actually, Fluttershy actually got a couple of laughs out of me, which is quite cool, actually. I really liked that, yeah. I guess she's really making up for how painfully non-existent she was in the movie, so that's nice. And then, of course, there was the thing that everyone would have freaked out about, I assume. That's going to Equestria, Princess Twilight, and the Celestia and Sunset meetup. It is interesting to see them actually meet. Sunset and Celestia, after all these years, they get that tension going, and you really feel the tension in that scene. I have to really emphasize that. You feel the tension between Celestia, you feel it between Sunset all throughout while she's there, and really nice. It's really nice, and it's just an all-around good scene. Once again, this scene actually got some laughs out of me just because of the conversation between Luna and Sunset about the faculty parking lot, and Twilight's reaction to the freaking library was amazing. Honestly, Twilight rarely ever gets laughs out of me, but I guess this Equestria God special could actually pull it off because Twilight's freakouts were amazing. Celestia as well also got a couple laughs out of me. So overall, the comedy in this episode was really good. Probably one of the highlights of it, to be perfectly honest. It was damn funny most of the time. Even the ending, Rainbow Dash got a laugh out of me with the whole bulk biceps joke. It was really funny. It was a really funny special. I will say that much. If anything, it gave me a few good laughs. But the last thing I really want to touch upon is the whole concept of the episode. Just the whole memory loss thing is really freaking cool. I'm glad they went this route, but again, the villain is what kind of ruins it for me. It's sort of, you needed a bigger villain. With the stakes that were going on in this episode, you couldn't have someone like, you know, another Sunset or another Midnight Sparkle. You had to have a true villain for these kind of stakes, but you went the same route as always, quite frankly, which is really a shame. But otherwise, I really like the concept. I liked how the Memory Stone looked like a Sheikah Stone from a certain video game. No, I think the concept was really good for this episode. They just didn't execute it very well, that's all I'll say. As for anything else, I thought it was good. I thought it was bad. Yeah, there's points for everything, really, but it was a damn good episode, and again, really funny. That's the one thing I can say about it that was really good. Other than that, there isn't really much I can say about Forgotten Friendship. It was, not to repeat myself too much, but it was good. I believe Season 8 is beginning at the end of March, if I recall, so we are getting close to Season 8, even though I've seen multiple episodes from it because of some certain leaks, but otherwise I'll certainly be probably doing videos for that. But yeah, we'll see what else comes out of Equestria Girls. Hopefully they will make that series, I don't know. But I'd like that too. I don't know. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Probably.